You don't need the strength.
Let's go.
Thanks.
So this is my personal story about how I unlocked the one-arm pull-up and the front lever as a 31-year-old brittle man. Okay, it's not that old, but still, I'd say I'm definitely not at my peak athletic age. The thing is, I've never really been athletic my whole life, and I wasn't interested in any sports growing up. Honestly, I spent most of my time at my computer playing games, and it like atrophied my body. I had aching wrist pains and like chronic lower back pains. I'm also a software engineer, so that wasn't really helping my case either. It wasn't until I was about 28 years old that I found climbing in June of 2022. That's kind of when my fitness journey started. I really liked climbing and I got more and more into it. So I started training like a lot. And my original goal wasn't even to unlock the one arm pull-up or the front lever. I just wanted to become a stronger climber. I just happened to get those things as a side effect. By sharing my experience, I hope that I can show you that it's not about any special exercises or routines that get the front lever or the one arm pull-up. There are fundamentals that you need in order to achieve these long-term goals. I'm going to share what I did in my routine that unlocked these moves, but I want to talk about these fundamentals first, since they're like a million times more important in my opinion. Spoiler alert, my routine is very straightforward. So the three fundamentals that I live by are 1. Consistency, 2. Trying hard, and 3. Experimentation. I'm sure you've heard of these before, and they're some of the hardest things to do, not just in fitness, but in any aspect of life. So how did I do these things? Well, I'll start with consistency first. Consistency is something a lot of people struggle with. For me, it came naturally through the process of climbing. The thing about climbing is that it creates a perfect environment where it's really easy to find something that's right at your level or just right above your level. When I find a climb that I really enjoy projecting, I get super absorbed. I'm in a flow state where nothing else matters but me and the climb. You've probably felt this when doing things in your life too, like studying or playing games or watching an engaging movie or any other sport. The thing is, sometimes I'll find a climb that I really believe that I can do, and I just can't do it. I get so frustrated with myself and I just go insane. There's like this raging fire inside that tells me I'm way better than this. Like, I've got to get stronger and I have to conquer this climb no matter what. I don't give a fuck. So having these moments in climbing kept my resolve really strong, and it let me stay consistent at the gym. Anytime I didn't feel like training, or I felt lazy, or I felt like maybe I should skip a day, I'm reminded of these frustrating moments, so I stayed focused on my goal. I trained every single week for years. The next thing I did was I made sure to try super dang hard. I mean, consistency is great, but it's not the full picture. You could go to the gym every day and lift like 5 pounds 10 times, but you wouldn't make any gains, at least not very fast, right? I have this philosophy when it comes to fitness that I have to try extremely hard, especially while training. And my thought process with that is like, if I want to get stronger, then I have some sort of max ceiling to my strength, right? Well, if I want to raise that ceiling, then I have to be constantly trying to break it, if that makes sense. This is obviously not so easy, so some of the things that help me out a lot are listening to music that boosts my adrenaline. What I would do is I would time the drop in my song right as I begin my set. This lets me go super ham on my rep. I hope someday you have it all. That's Psalm 41 if you didn't know. Another thing I did was I think back to those moments of frustration when I fail on a climb, and this really pumps me up right before my set.
Nice.
Oh, so frustrating. So, one pretty messed up thing that I do sometimes is I visualize like some of my loved ones being crushed by like a car or something, and I imagine that my reps are trying to lift that car. I don't know, it's super weird, but it gets my adrenaline up. Yeah, I'm pretty freaking weird. But of course I can't try hard every single session. I can't always pull like my life depends on it, but I at least try to do it every time. This let me get strong relatively fast anyway. So I think consistency and trying hard will get you really far, but sometimes things just don't work for some reason. For example, I was training once a week because I was busy climbing, but I eventually hit a plateau. I was in it for about 2 to 3 weeks, after months of great progress. So I tried upping my sessions to twice a week, and I feel like that was the perfect sweet spot for my muscles to make consistent progress. I would also end my workouts with one-arm negatives, but I started to feel this pain in my bicep tendon, which obviously isn't a good sign, so I just took that out of my routine completely. I also tried adding a lot of random stuff to my routine specific for climbing, but it ended up taking way too much time, and I just simplified my routine down a lot. So I think it's important to always be figuring out your body, your schedule, your lifestyle. Listen to these signals and just try stuff out as you go and figure out what works for you. I tried following other people's routines on YouTube, and it may work for a bit, but I eventually had to change things up so that it worked for me personally. So you're probably curious what my routine was anyway. Honestly, it's nothing special. I still think being consistent, trying hard, and figuring out your own training program is the best way to hit your goals. So my routine when I unlock the one-arm pull-up and the front lever is that I climb on Saturdays for about 2 to 3 hours. I would climb for about 1 to 2 hours on Monday. Then I finish off my day with training. And for training, I would do 3 sets of weighted pull-ups with 5 minutes rest in between. I would add weights until my first set was about 3 to 5 reps to failure. Second set would be like 2 to 3 reps to failure, and then my last set would be 1 to 2 reps to failure. After that, I did dumbbell bench press. This was super good for shoulder stability and compression, which is great for climbing. I wanted to do 3 sets with about 6 reps until failure, but my gym only had up to 50-pound dumbbells, so I ended up doing more like 10 to 12 reps. I could have used the barbell, but I don't really like using that. During the rest in between my bench press, I would superset weighted hollow holds for about 30 seconds. This helped me train my core engagement, which again is also great for climbing. And then finally on Wednesdays, I would climb for about 2 to 3 hours and then do the same 3 set of weighted pull-ups. I would skip the dumbbell bench presses and hollow holds because I want to keep the training super short that day. So that's pretty much it. I never had front lever or one-arm pull-up training in my routine. I would attempt it like every now and then, and I got a little closer every time, but I never intentionally trained it consistently. This is why I think that the other stuff that I talked about is so much more important, but obviously it's easier said than done. I hope that you can find your drive and motivation to keep you consistent at the gym, and maybe one day I'll make a video detailing about how I found mine. But hey, at least you can take my sample size of 1 to show that it's not always about some magic workout program. Sometimes it's just about the simple things that work. Anyways, I hope you found my story useful, and I'll see you later. Peace.